Well, first I'd like to thank our fans tonight. Felt like we had a great crowd here tonight, a very energetic crowd that helped our guys. So just really appreciate the fans bringing the energy to the ballpark tonight, because we certainly needed it against a great Louisville club. The third inning was huge for us. Teodosio led the inning off with a double, and I thought one of the most critical at-bats of the game was Sam Hall's walk. 3-2 count, just kept fighting pitches off and battling, found a way to get on base. Logan did the same thing, just kept fighting pitches off, and finally got a pitch he could handle and hit it out of the ballpark for a 3-run homer. Then Wilkie followed that up with a homer, and we put together the big inning. And then little Elijah Henderson, who just works as hard as he can, plays as hard as he can, gets an opportunity here and there to play for us, and hit one out of the ballpark as well. It was great to see that. So, and Davis Sharp was outstanding. Started to run out of gas there, and we had to get him out of the ball game, and Holt followed him up and did a nice job. Played a great game defensively tonight, made some really nice plays. Magic made a nice play over his head. I thought Birdie played a really good first base, made some nice plays, and just overall it was a great game of pitching and defense for us, and we did just enough. We ran into some balls, hit 3 home runs against one of the best starters in the country. Detmers was voted by D1 Baseball as the best starting pitcher in the nation at the halfway point. So just very proud of my guys. Way to bounce back tonight after a tough midweek game. But we showed up today. And I told the team after the game, I could see it in ground ball and batting practice today, just the focus and the attention to what they were doing pregame. We looked very confident. We looked ready to go, and overall played one of our better games.
What difference does it make when you have a crowd like that?
It makes a huge difference. There is a such thing as a home field advantage, and there's certain places that you play across the country where you can feel the crowd, and there's certain places across the country that you don't feel the crowd. And tonight you could feel the crowd, and that's a big difference. It's a big deal when you look at teams across the country. When you can feel the crowd, the presence of the crowd, it gives the home team an advantage. It gives the home team more confidence, more energy, more intensity, and it doesn't help the opposition. I can attest to that from doing this my whole life. Being in the other dugout when you play in certain ballparks where there's really good crowds and good energy, it's tough to play in those type of environments. And I thought we had that kind of environment tonight. So really thankful and grateful for our fans for showing the kind of energy they had tonight.
How big was it for Sharp to come in and have a 6 2/3 inning start against the quality of pitcher that you were facing and the quality that Louisville's lineup?
Well, he matched him and was even the better guy tonight, which says a lot about Davis Sharp. Davis Sharp also was voted as the midseason best freshman in the country. So you had 2 dudes going tonight, as we call them. And Davis was a little bit better. Detmers was awfully good. He still punched out 10 in 6 innings of work, but we got just enough in a handful of at-bats. We didn't really have a bunch of good at-bats, but we put together the at-bats when we needed to put them together with runners on base and came up with some big hits. So, it says a lot about Sharp, why he is so special and why he's able to do what he does on a Friday night against a top 10 club.
Coach, second straight Friday that you didn't hit Sharp.
Yeah.
Was that a tough decision as well as he's been hit?
It's always a tough decision not to hit him. I mean, he's leading us in hitting. He's hitting .333 with a .436 on base percentage, so it's tough to not put him in the lineup. But if you want to get him deep into the ball game, imagine what it's like if he gets on base a couple times, if he's hitting, and then he's got to run the bases. He tries to score from first base on a double, and then he's got to go out there and pitch when he's at 80 or 90 pitches. That can be the difference in him being able to get you into the 6th, 7th inning of a start. You may lose him 20 pitches before that in terms of fatigue, and he was getting fatigued there, and he was right at that 100-pitch mark. So it's a tough decision to not hit him because he's such a good hitter. We're hoping that in time we're going to be able to do that, but right now we just feel like it's best for him and it's best for us to not hit him on Friday nights and just let him focus on his start.
You started Elijah Henderson all weekend up at Blacksburg, and then he got the start again tonight. What have you seen in him that made you want to give him a shot?
Well, he's a good defender, and he gives you competitive at-bats at the bottom of the order, and he's a tough kid. And we feel like defensively it's probably our best defense. When we run that lineup out there, we put Parker at third, plus defender at third, Hall's a plus defender at second base, Birdie, we feel like is probably our best defender at first base, and Elijah's a good defender in left. So we just feel like on a Friday night we've got to play good defense and force the other team to beat us, and that's why we go with the lineup that we went with tonight. Yeah, it's just awesome. You know, again, this is a kid that came into the program and he redshirted last year. He worked his tail off in the weight room. Believe it or not, pound for pound, he's one of the strongest kids in the weight room. So he has worked his butt off to get to this point. And he's just a competitor. He's a super confident kid. He plays hard. He practices hard. Elijah Henderson never has a bad day at this ballpark. He shows up every day, very positive. You know, it was tough not to play him midweek this week. But, you know, he never says a word. He just shows up and he punches his ticket and he works hard every day and he's ready to go when he gets his opportunity. So I'm very proud of him.
I think Denver's had only allowed like 5 extra base hits this year. You talked about staying alive in those type of bats. Is that the key for those 4 hits that you guys had tonight?
Well, I just think that we focused on a plan and an approach against Detmers. It didn't look like it was working early in the ball game. He's a guy that executes pitches at the top of the strike zone, and he's got plus velocity. He's also got a really good breaking ball. The pitches that we hit out of the ballpark were fastballs. We had to focus on trying to stay on top of his fastball, believe it or not, because he gets so many swings and misses where you're underneath his fastball because he pitches at the top of the zone. So we had to try to push the ball down. So we sat at the top of the zone. Anything below that, we're going to hack at it. And fortunately for us, we got some balls below the belt that we could get on the plane of that pitch, and we're able to hit them out of the ballpark.
Coach, we saw a new celebratory routine from you.
Yeah.
Home runs today. You had
Yeah.
3 of them in the game.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I had no idea that they were going to do that. But I will say this, we talked about it as a team that we didn't feel like we had as much energy in the dugout on a Friday night that we needed. Sometimes our guys can be a little bit laid back. And I kind of talked about it with Logan and a few of the guys that, hey, and they did it. It wasn't anything I did. I had no idea what was going on. They actually took, I think it was Coach LaCroix's basketball goal from his office so his kids will have something to play with when they come to the office. I think that's where they got it from. I'm not sure. I'll have to ask the guys. If that's not the case, then I'm wrong. But I thought it was very creative and clever, and I thought it was really cool. And that's what, at the end of the day, that's what college baseball is all about. This isn't professional baseball. These kids want to have fun. They want to compete for each other and for their school, and it was pretty cool to see. I think we missed the first alley-oop though when Logan hit the home run, but outside of that, we were 2 for 3 on the slam dunks.